Hi, this is Mrs. Guthrie again, and this is code.org Computer Science Discoveries, Unit 2, Lesson 6, and we're going to be starting to talk about how to style text with CSS. In lessons 1 through 4, you learned about how to code HTML to create your own web page. But our web pages were a little lacking in style because all they are were just paragraphs and headings. And so we're going to learn how to make them more exciting and jazz them up using style sheets. So in Bubble 1, you will see a sample website. You don't really need to do anything on this level, but it gives you a chance to discover some of the new types of styling that we're going to be learning. So this is a web page. What are some things that you notice that look different? I see things written in italics. I see things written in colors. I see some underlining. You can see some pretty cool stuff here. And if we go to view code, remember we can actually pull this web page up so we can explore some of the code behind it. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. But if you would like to look at some of the code, if you're curious, you can come in here. So this part, this is our web page, looks a lot like what we're used to seeing with heading tags and p tags. But I do see, for the first time, I see that they have actually typed something in between the head tags at the top of the document. Remember, so far all the typing that we've done has been between the body tags. I also see a new file over here called style.css, and I see some different kinds of coding here. So we're going to be learning more about that as we move on. All right. So if we go to Bubble 2, we're going to explore a little more. And we want to explore the index HTML file and the style CSS. If you're not sure how to switch between the file, the little drop-down instruction will tell you that if you click the name of the file on the left side of the screen, you can switch to the file that you want to look at. So if we click on style.css, we are looking at the style sheet. If we click on index.html, we are looking at the web page. So we're going to learn a new language. It's called CSS, and it adds style to our web pages. How is this language different from HTML? Look at the way the tags are in our HTML language. Look at the way it's coded in CSS. We don't have the less than and greater than signs. Instead, I see the little squiggly curly brackets, and I see colons and semicolons. So there are some things, though, that I see that are the same. I see H1 and I see H2. These are the names of some tags that we've been using in HTML. So, how are these two files connected? Hopefully you can see that there's a link here in the head, between the head tags, that this is the link that connects our two files. All right, once you've finished looking at this, and you've considered what kind of changes, how is this different without that link tag, which I'm going to take and delete that. Look at what it looks like without it. Look at what it looks like with it. So it changed some colors. It changed. Let's look at that one more time. Notice that right here, everything is lined up according, on the left-hand side. So it also makes things look different here, which is pretty cool. If we make it larger, we can see we've got some things centered. The red text is over all the way to the right. So that's interesting. Let's go to the next level. This is a video. It is incredibly important that you watch this video. And as I've mentioned in the past, I'm not going to play videos while I'm doing a video because it makes for terrible video quality and the audio doesn't match up to the video very well. So for me personally, I can't stand it when their lips are moving and they're not saying things at the exact same. But this is important. This is the instructional piece for this lesson, and it's a few minutes of your time that you need to go and invest in Bubble 3. So we're going to skip to Bubble 4, but pause my video and go into code.org and watch Bubble 3. All right, hopefully you have paused and you went and watched the video, and now we're going to look ahead at Bubble 4. So now we are going to be looking at this HTML file that uses a style sheet to put in some style, and it contains information about, the style sheet gives you information about what these elements, the P element and the H1 element, should look like. Find the code in the style sheet that is making the H1 heading red. Change the code for the color of the H1 heading from red to a different color. That is what you're asked to do. Here's some things that you might want to look at. What colors can you use in CSS? There's a lot. You can use all the common color names, red, blue, green, black, purple, but there's a lot of uncommon ones, and there is a great resource at W3 Schools that will list all the color names. You can also use RGB values, which we will learn more about down the road. But if you are interested in learning more about that, you can look it up on W3 Schools. How does the code work? It works because H1 is the selector, that is what is being selected, and what element is going to follow the rules. Color (red) semicolon is the rule inside of those curly brackets that makes the H1 tags red. The first part of that color is the property. Red, we call that the value. We can change the values of the property, which is what we're doing in this. Now, why do we need all of this punctuation, these colons, curly braces, semicolons, and so forth? This is how we help the computer understand what it is that we actually want it to do, where the rules start and end. And so it's very important that you use this punctuation, get accustomed to using it correctly. Otherwise, you will find that you will have errors. All right, and what is a style sheet? That is what we call this CSS file, and it is what controls the style, how the web page actually looks. CSS is the language, and it means cascading style sheets. So lots of things that you can do in this. But what we're asked to do on this page is simply change the heading from red to a different color. My favorite color is purple. You can see when you start to type, you can actually see a lot of the colors that are automatically in here, and you can choose any of those. So just by putting in one letter, you can see a lot of choices, but I'm going to go with, I like that Rebecca purple actually. Okay, and I am going to click finish because I have completed what was asked to do on this page. Now you go and you do the same on yours. Maybe change it to a different color, whatever your favorite color is. In Bubble 5, you are going to be making a new CSS rule set. So between the curly brackets is the rule set, and it is attached in this case. We're going to find the one for the H1 tag, and we are going to make a new rule set for the H3 tags. So we're going to follow the same pattern. I'm going to type in H3. Notice exactly how things are organized. As soon as you type in the first curly bracket, you'll see both of them pop up. And you're going to type between these brackets. And we want to add code to set a different color for the H3 tags. Color, maybe we want these to be aqua. That's, ooh, I don't know. That maybe doesn't look so good. Let's try a different color. That's too light. We can try fire brick. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. And what do we need at the end of our rule? We need to tell the computer that that's the end and put in a semicolon. Even if it renders correctly on the preview page, you should still make sure that you are following the syntax rules of putting that semicolon at the end, so that as you're adding more rules, it knows where one ends and the next one begins. It's kind of like when we write sentences and we put capital letters and periods so that we know where sentences start and finish. All right, that's all you have to do on this page. Then we're going to look at Bubble 6. I want you to note on Bubble 6 that we're going to be looking at changing other things, such as the text size. That's really important. We want to know how the code works. We kind of looked at that already, but this is looking more specifically at the size. So if we're using the rule font size, it's inside the P selector, which means this is only going to change the font size for the paragraph tags, for the paragraph elements. And 14px, px refers to pixels. So in this case, 14px is the value, and the text is going to be 14 pixels big. If you change it to like 15 or 16, you are probably not going to hardly be able to notice. When you're wanting to really see if what you're doing is working, change the number by at least 5 or 10 pixels so that you can really notice it when you see the change happen. All right, so find the CSS rule set in the style sheet that determines the style for the paragraph tag. So we're going to click on Style. We are looking for this rule set right here that starts with the P and ends with the curly brace. And we want to change the text size of the paragraph and the headings to be different sizes. So maybe we want our paragraphs to be maybe 20. That's nice. Our H3, I feel like they should be larger than the paragraph size. So we can add another rule set here. And maybe we should make those about 24 pixels. And if our H3 is 24 pixels, then our H1 tag, which is our title, should probably be larger. Let's try 36. All right, and you can adjust it however you would like. If you want to preview what the web page looks like, you can make it kind of full screen there. And definitely a lot easier to read that font because it's larger. All right. When you click Finish here, you are done with part 1 of Lesson 6, and we will continue part 2 in the next video.